How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today, back to talk about seasons. The reason I think you first appeared on the show is Nandor Shaffer. How are you, dude?
Dude, I'm doing wonderful. This has been a great year for me professionally, creatively. So I
Mhm.
can't thank you enough for having me and letting me come back and talk about what I've been working on.
It's always a joy to get to talk to you. So it's nice to see you come back from time to time to kind of keep me updated on what you've been writing, what you've been working on, what you've been releasing, and how
Yeah,
your career in comics has expanded or grown, I guess. But yeah, tell people in case they're not familiar with what you do, what is it that you do?
yeah. I'm a comic book writer and creator. I mostly have always been in crowdfunded comics, making books through Kickstarter and crowdfunding. I started right out of high school with my first book, Seasons, which we'll be talking about today. And from there, I've published 7 books: Seasons, Volumes 1 and 2, Man Child Issues 1 through 3, The Fabled Offering, and Lifeline. And so the past 7, 8 years, I've been making comics. And just this year, I got my first 2 publishing deals, one with Source Point Press and the other with Gungnir Books for a hardcover graphic novel that I'm super excited to talk about at some point in the future. But yeah, I'm a comic book writer. I've loved comics all my life, and it's been my dream to make this a reality.
So, how has it changed since you wanted to do this right out of high school?
Yeah.
And now, you're a little bit older, a little wiser. You've seen how the publishing industry works. You've seen delays. You've seen printers that are like, yeah, we'll have your book out next
Diamond
year.
Diamond's
Oh,
gone.
God forbid we talk about the things happening with Diamond. How has your view of the comic book world changed since then? Like, what is different?
Yeah, I've really I've realized how ruthless it is, and not necessarily like intentionally ruthless, where it's like people are trying to like take you down or anything like that. It's just very competitive, and I didn't expect it to be as competitive. I think when I started, um, and also it's comics is I feel like is very fractured. I feel like the industry is very fractured. And what I mean by that is like, it's not like there's a Marvel bullpen anymore. It's not like there's a DC
Mhm.
office where like people are all coming together and working on something. Everyone lives all over the world. Everyone's working remotely. Um, Everyone is trying to put these things together, and it's very difficult. I found it's very difficult to get a hold of people, to get a hold of people in the industry, and to network and to talk to people that can give you the gigs that you can try to I think comic book creators sometimes become complacent in the age of social media, where we feel like, well, if someone wants to, if someone sees my work, then they'll reach out, and I would have, broken into the industry. But you really have to make an effort to try and get your work out there in ways that even social media or being on the internet doesn't necessarily provide. And it's something that I experienced a couple weeks ago. I was at New York Comic Con,
Mhm.
and it was the first time in the past 5+ years that I've been making comics where I kind of felt like I belonged, but also like I kind of understood the industry better, more than I ever had. And it was because I was actually able to speak with a lot of industry professionals and writers and artists and kind of get a gauge on what things are actually like, and not just things that I hear about like secondhand.
Because you're there, you're with the creators, and you kind of know how they're all networking as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like I felt like I was a part of one big family, and we're all trying to succeed together. And while I know that, someone succeeding may take that gig that maybe you want, it doesn't mean, and they don't, it I believe there's enough to go around for people who are disciplined and who persevere, but um, we're all learning together. That's something that I really learned about the comic book industry and how it's ever evolving and changing. And I think, for me, I'm a sponge, so like I'm always there to learn and to try to talk to people and figure out, what can I do differently? What have I not been doing? What am I doing wrong? And I like to pick people's brains because this is something I want to do full time. I don't really have a plan B, and so for me, it's like how can I make this happen? How can I make this work? And I don't really want to give myself an out. I don't want to like, well, you could always do this. It's like no, like I got in here for a reason, and I want to stick to this reason.
When you're thinking about the future, since you've been working on crowdfunded books, do you ever see yourself like working on a monthly comic?
Yes.
Something something like something
Yeah.
like something from DC or Marvel, right? Like, do you ever see yourself doing that? Was that the dream, or was the dream always like, I'm gonna do my own thing, I'm gonna do it on my own time, and all the money and IP belongs to me? You know what I'm saying? It's
No,
like,
no one can tell me what to do. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, or do you, or do you see yourself actually going, "Oh, I'd love to write a Wolverine comic or a Superman comic or a Wonder Woman comic every month?" How do
Yeah.
you see yourself? Especially
Yeah.
now that you're a little bit older since you started doing the crowdfunding book and where you are now.
It's really fascinating. I feel like human nature is always the grass is always greener. Like where
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you're in the mainstream, you kind of wish you could do your own thing because you realize how important it is to own your own IP and to be a creator owned creator where it's like you're just putting out creator owned books and you're working at Image or places like Mad Cave or um,
Mhm,
doing crowdfunded books. I think crowdfunding, since 2020 2021 has really escalated and has really become ubiquitous with comics and with making indie comics in particular. It's kind of like we even see publishers utilizing it as well. But yeah, so like when I talk to people who work at Marvel and DC, I feel like they kind of want to do their own thing. But then I talk to people in my indie space and they want to work at Marvel and DC. So it's always like this, well, wait a second, like are we doing what people at Marvel and DC want to be doing? Like by making our own stuff and trying to make a living just on what we make. But there's always and maybe it's that well, once you get there and you're able to write your Wonder Woman story or write your Spider-Man story, maybe you exercise that out and now you feel like you could go off and do your own thing. But so I guess in some ways I feel like uh, I've my goal has always been to write full time and to make it at Marvel and DC or another publisher, Dark Horse or something like that, because I really I really love comics, and I really love. I feel like I have something to say, and I have something to offer the industry, and I would hope that I'd still be able to do what I do, with my books on the side. And I've learned so much. Like when you're an indie creator, you learn so much about the printing process. You learn so much about what it means to kind of be a project manager and to hire letterers and artists and all the different facets of what it means to make a comic. And like the buck stops with you with every decision, and that's something that I know a lot of writers in the mainstream don't necessarily do, and they're kind of scared that they're intimidated by running the show because it's a lot of work. But it's something that I've learned, and on this side of things, I would hope to be able to bring that perspective. So for me, yes, I will not. I mean, I will not stop until I at least get to write, even if it's a backup, in an annual or something. Like, I that's really where want my trajectory to be heading towards.
So I guess this kind of leads into this question: how did you and the artist for Seasons meet?
It's a great question. Thanks, J. Michael. So I met Anthony a long time ago. And it was through a art forum site, or I think it was Deviant Art. I don't know if people still post there or anything, but it was just an art site where people post their illustrations. There's other places like ArtStation now, and so like it was random, like I didn't know. I never made a comic before. I didn't know how to make a comic. I didn't even know where to start to try to find an artist. And so for me, I was like, well, I could try to reach out to people who are established, but why would they want to work with me? Because, I'm just this 18, 19-year-old kid who is just like from Missouri. He doesn't really know what he's doing. So it's like, do they really want to work with someone like me? And so, I thought, well, let me try to work with, another up and comer, someone who wants to make comics. And so I found Anthony's illustrations on the site, and it had his contact info on his profile page. And I emailed him, and we started talking about seasons, and we started talking about, like, I kind of pitched it to him, the idea and what I wanted to do with the book, and the structure of it and whatnot. And at that time, I wasn't even thinking about crowdfunding. I was thinking about posting it online for free as a web comic, which we did do to gain readers and followers, to kind of set up the crowdfunder eventually. Um, but yeah, so, and this is his first book as well as mine.
Mhm.
So he had done a few illustrations and a few sequentials on his portfolio, like in his portfolio. But yeah, it all started there, and we've been talking, ever since. So it's been a lifelong relationship, work relationship, because we still have the remaining 2 volumes to go. So we're still working on this book.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Are you working on that current?
Oh, your mic went out. Yeah, I can't hear you. I don't know if other people can.
Hmm.
There we
Weird.
go. There we go. Yeah, you're back.
That was strange. Hmm. It was like it switched my microphone to another outlet. Weird. So I was just asking about the seasons because I think I made that joke with you at the very beginning years ago. I was like, "There's 4 seasons," and was that the plan when you had just one book? So yeah, tell me about the next step. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, so this Kickstarter that's live right now, it's for the funding of volumes 1 and 2 as trade paperback editions. Because, as you know, I originally came out with the first 2 books as these kind of collector's hardcovers,
Yeah, I remember.
and yeah, so
What
as we
what made you go that route to begin with, dude? That okay. So, yeah, why hardcover and not trade paperback? It's usually the other way around. People are
yeah,
usually like, "No, I'm gonna do trade, man. Hardcovers
yeah,
are more expensive."
it was important for us to make a statement. I had seen other creators on Kickstarter do um, these ambitious, like, 100-page hardcovers, and had, like, they looked beautiful. They looked like something very appealing, and it also felt like you be able to get something unique that you couldn't necessarily find in the direct market. There was a collector's incentive to it that I thought we could play with, and I loved the idea of having the 4 seasons as these hardcovers on my bookshelf. It was like that sounds like a really cool thing to do.
Mhm.
So yeah, it is in some ways where um we're kind of doing it backwards. I feel like a lot of the things I do in comics is kind of backwards,
Oh,
but, you know, here
I didn't mean backwards. I just thought,
Yeah,
wow, that's it
yeah,
was
it's a
you took a
first,
gamble.
right, right. It really was, and I think back to that kid I used to be and kinda how ambitious and diehard I was, and you know, it's inspiring to me because I'm like I wanna fulfill that kid's dream of still putting out the next 2 volumes as hardcovers, finishing the set, doing a slipcase, doing an omnibus. You know, like what who knows what we could do later on,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, so you know, it was about like having this special thing that people could have on their shelf, and I've always loved hardcovers myself, you know, and so it was just kind of an aesthetic choice. And then so with the trade paperback editions, as we were working on volume 3 and getting ready to release it, to launch it, I was like, well, I'm sold out. I'm sold out of volumes 1 and 2 as these hardcovers. I don't, you know, they're completely gone except for a few of volume 2 that I have. Um, and there's no way that people are going to be able to, you know, pick up volume 3 and understand what's really going on in the story. I mean, each arc is its own story, but it's a part of a larger narrative. And so it was important that we give people the opportunity to rediscover seasons and bring this book back to the forefront of my imprint, my publishing line, and give people the chance to get in on this while it's hot and while we got this next volume in the works. So, and that was my Source Point Press deal is 4 seasons, and that will be um, released in comic book stores and bookstores everywhere, like late next year in 2026. So. Uh, Everything was kind of working out serendipitously for this book where we were working on volume 3 and I sold out of the hardcovers I had, and then I got this publishing deal, and it was like it's time to really bring this back in full force.
Why the breaks in between? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
so
know, like, if somebody really enjoyed the first book, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm assuming you were working on certain projects and your artist was working on certain projects. Is that how what was happening? And
Yeah, yeah, it's very practical, you know, like the reasons are very practical. I my whole goal has to same with artists is to build a portfolio, right? And for me as a writer, I thought it was very important after volume 2 was done. Between volumes 2 and 3, I knew volume 3 was going to be this giant undertaking because it's going to be about 140, 150 pages, and each book is over 100 pages. So there's a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy that is invested in seasons in particular. And as I was thinking about my career and the kind of writer that I wanted to be and the kind of brand that I wanted to have, um, I knew I needed to diversify my portfolio and to show that I could write in other genres, that I could write other stories, that I could, you know,
Mhm.
pitch short stories and thought, you know, I could be hireable where I could work in anthologies and I could pitch and I was learning how to pitch more throughout these last few years. And so, you know, started working on Manchild with Jay, and then I started working on the Fabled Offering with Marco, and then I put out the Lifeline graphic novel where I worked with 7 different artists on that one project. And so, yeah, it was a matter of thinking horizontally instead of building my brand on just this one book. I wanted to show people that I'm not just a one trick pony, that I have more stories in me, that I have more things to say. And then Anthony in kind also was going to be working on other projects too. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to reconvene when the time was right. And now I'm actually really glad that I waited because I feel like it's been for the best because I'm a better writer and I've already been editing my scripts for volume 3 and making them better, making the story better. And so for me, I feel like the series will end on even you know a more high note than I thought possible.
When you said editing, are you editing the books yourself?
Yes. Yeah. So, um, all of my self-published crowdfunded books, I are all self-edited by me, and I do, you know, working with an artist. I always, I'm always working with them in tandem in the sense of like, hey, if you see something that doesn't make sense in the story, it doesn't make sense in the dialogue. If there's something wrong, with the grammar or whatnot, like let me know. I always approach it that way. But I'm a stickler. If you ask any of the artists that I work with, I'm very hard on myself and very hard on the script and what we're able to accomplish with it. So yeah, I've never worked with an editor until now with Gungnir Books with this new project that I have, and I'm working with Steve Orlando as my editor, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I'm really enjoying the process.
Yeah, that guy knows a little bit about comics.
He knows a little bit, just a little.
I love talking to Steve. He's a good dude. Uh, so tell me about this current. Actually, let me. These are some good questions. Who is your target audience, and then we'll get to Logan's.
My target audience. It's a great question. I think my target audience is mainly um, anyone like 15 and up, I'd say mainly superhero readers, comic book fans. There's a lot of superhero um I don't necessarily want to say tropes, but inspiration that I take from in a lot of my stories. A Man Child's very, very much a superhero story, but Seasons is kind of it's more like in my Shyamalan's Unbreakable, where it has, if you're a comic book fan, you can appreciate it, I think, more. But it's more on the supernatural side of things. So for me, it's for ultimately, my comics are for readers who want a nutritional reading experience, something where they get a lot of meaning out of it and are rewarded for their investment in time.
It's a good answer, man. And who are your writing inspirations, either in comics or elsewhere? If you could jump forward, say 20, 30 years from now, who would you like? Who would you like to mention in the same
Oh,
breath as? Right? Like,
wow.
yeah.
Wow, man, you're making me dream big here. This is great. So my biggest writing inspirations, I'll answer that part first, has been growing up. I'd probably say the 3 to 5 writers that I think made me the writer that I am or that I want to be, um, are Jonathan Hickman, Ed Brubaker, Jim Kruger, Scott McCloud, and Rick Remender. I think those are my. Yeah, I think 4 is only on route Mount Rushmore, but those are my 5 if I were to have one.
You can
So
make it's your mountain, man. You can make it as big
I
as
can
you want
chisel it
to.
how I want.
It's your
um,
take, man.
so yeah, like those are the writers that I feel like have really moved me. Their work has really changed the way I look at comics. And you know, if people were to talk about me, 30 years from now, I would hope that they would talk about me in the same breath, or at least, you know, hey, like don't forget about this guy. That's what I would like.
Oh, so there's your answer, Logan. Now, what is the Kickstarter for this time around for seasons? What are we doing?
Yes. So this campaign is for the printing production of Seasons Volumes 1 and 2 as trade paperback editions. So
Mhm.
it's the art is completely done. There's also a Volume 3 ash can that is a part of this campaign as well. But yeah, this is like a second chance campaign for people to get in on the story and get in on the series if they've never heard about it before, or if they couldn't afford the hardcovers previously. This is a more affordable options for people. And so yeah, we're offering The first two volumes, both over 100 pages each, as well as the volume 3 ash can, which is 28 pages, which is a much larger ash can than you would typically see, because the book itself is going to be quite, quite large. So all of that is available on this campaign. And we also have original art and different variant covers. This was the first time I ever worked with other artists for like different covers. So like Anthony does the covers for volumes 1 and 2, the like A covers or the main covers, but I was able to work with some incredibly talented artists for some variants that are like crowdfunding exclusives. Since this book will be in the direct market late next year, um, we'll have those retail covers that Anthony's done, but the variants are only something you're going to be able to get directly through me. And then, yeah, we have some, like I said, original art and like a bundle where people can get all my books. But yeah, this specific campaign is to print these stories as these trade paperback editions.
Okay. And this ash can edition, what is in that particular ash can of seasons 3?
Yeah, so it's going to be the first 28 pages of volume 3.
Mhm.
And it's basically, I break up each graphic novel into chapters. And so when you read Seasons, it'll have, issue 1 or chapter 1 and chapter 2 or chapter 3. Um, and volume 3 of Seasons is going to have 5 chapters, and the first chapter is this ash can. So it's, like I said, it's the first 28 pages, and it gives you it sets the stage for what volume 3 is going to be about, and what it's going to entail. It shows Fletcher discovering his new abilities that he has. So I didn't even talk about what Seasons like the story, but like a main hook of the series is about this character named Fletcher, and his abilities change with each passing season. So with this ash can, we'll see like what new powers he has. And so for people who have been curious, who've waited to see like, what's Fletcher going to be able to do in fall, we'll be showing that off in this ash can.
So, give me the pitch. I know I've talked about your book on the channel a few times, but in
Yeah.
case somebody's watching for the first time, and it's been about a year, I think, since you were here last 2024. Yeah, but give me the pitch for Seasons.
All right. So Seasons is a supernatural, grounded superhero story about this young man named Fletcher Eames, whose abilities change with every passing season. And um, it's, I like to say it's James O'Barr's The Crow meets M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable. It's a character study that explores complex themes of identity and purpose and mental illness. And um, Seasons is ultimately a story about Fletcher discovering the person he was always like meant to be. It's about exploring the idea of potential and trying to realize your potential and self discovery. It's somewhat of a late coming of age because Fletcher is kind of uh, down in the dumps. We find him down in the dumps in volume 1, and he gets kind of thrust into this unseen world where he has to discover what he can do, and his abilities are there for him to take on different enemies, different like obstacles that he has to overcome, that will define who he will be. So it's a 1 year story, so each book will be a different season. So we start with spring and summer,
Mhm.
and then we'll go to fall and winter. And it's my hope, if I do my job correctly, that the reader will be able to trace the evolution of Fletcher, from spring to winter and back to spring, to see, the rebirth of this new man.
When you go from summer to fall and fall to spring, spring to summer, is it during different years, or
No,
is it
it's all 1 year. So it's
continuing? Okay.
written. It's I planned the story to be written, as in real time as much as I could make it in real time, to where, um, I'm dating the days. I'm dating the years is 2017 to 2018.
Mhm.
So you see Fletcher, in March and April, and then as we get to June and July, like and we see him go through the months, and structurally it's placed in real time.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was wondering. So, same creative team in seasons 3?
Yeah, yep. So Anthony and I are coming back for volume 3, and we're excited to be back and to be working together again. And we're going to be hopefully firing on all cylinders, and still trying to wow people with what we can do. And I hope people will come back and appreciate and respect us putting our time into this, and working together again, because like I said, these are very huge investments on both of our parts to spend all this time on this series. It's a very ambitious series that you don't necessarily see in the indie comic scene very often. And so to do these 4 graphic novels with the same creative team, is a lot. So I hope we can, succeed.
So let me ask you this. You said that it was Source Point that was going to be printing seasons, right?
Yes.
So what aspect of seasons are they printing? Are they reprinting your original books, or moving forward they're going to be printing like a new volume or spin-off series? What's I don't want to, spoil everything or
Oh, no,
give
no,
too
you're
much away,
fine. Like,
but
it's all part of the way the Source Point, press, deal works, is that it's, like, this campaign is all part of that. So, like, the success or failure of this campaign will actually, decide, the ability for seasons to be in the direct market at a scale that I wouldn't be able to do,
Mhm.
just by myself. So, that's the reason for the campaign in particular too, is to be able to print a large amount of copies that I normally wouldn't print, so that we could have this in bookstores and comic book stores everywhere. And so yeah, like the versions that we get out of this campaign are going to be the same books that people will be able to pick up in shops, later in 2026. But the Kickstarter backer, is getting the opportunity to pick up this book before anyone else, because we will fulfill it and deliver it to backers first. So like the book will not, and the book will be in the hands of backers like a year, or 6 months before it ever hits shelves. So it's kind of like you're getting an exclusive, first dibs on a story before anyone else.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. And the link is in the description of the video if you're watching this later, and it's here right now. And from the looks of it, you've got 10 days left, right, on seasons. And let's see, you're at 52% funded. There is a digital version and a digital for volumes 1 and 2, and then the ash can, and then the trade paperback with you have different covers.
Yes, yeah. So we do have variant covers, that are
Mhm.
available for people to pick up. So, and these are not going to be in stores. Like these are only going to be available through, my store, or the C covers, from Rob Willis and Richard. I mean Rob Willis and, Corey Barton for volumes 1 and 2. Those are
Yeah.
only available through crowdfunding. So, um, that we will not offer them I'm not going to offer them at signings or conventions, or through my web store or anything like that. They'll only be offered through crowdfunding.
Okay, so this is the only way to actually get it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. When
I
are
don't know.
you?
Sorry, I mean to
Yeah,
interrupt. Did you want to show the campaign, or?
yeah, we can. Do you want to? You want to share your screen to walk through it?
Sure. Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
do that.
absolutely. Just let me know when you're ready. And while you're doing that, I was wondering when these books would be in people's hands after it succeeds.
Yeah.
It's fully funded.
So let's see here. It's gonna be okay. It should be ready.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, take us through it.
Yeah. So the book is gonna be available to people. We're planning on a February, like after the holidays, February 2026 ship date. So yeah, like I said, the art is completely done for volumes 1 and 2, as well as the ash can. So it'll just be a matter of after the Kickstarter funds come through, we'll
Yeah.
get the pre-press ready, all that stuff, and send it to the printer. And we're hoping, to have all the books and everything ready for us to be shipped out by February 2026. So yeah, this is the campaign. Like you said, we only have 10 days left. We're at 78 backers, and let's see here. So we have our characters here. Fletcher, the main character from Volume 1, and he's the main character for the entire series. This just goes through some of the characters that we'll encounter in Volumes 1 and 2. And then here's some preview pages from both volumes from Anthony Gonzalez Clark. And it is a black and white book. So the interiors are black and white, and that's kind of where the Crow inspiration comes from. So if you're a fan of James O'Barr's The Crow, I think you'll really enjoy Anthony's work and his like shadows and his ability for to catch lighting and his eye for lighting and shadows. So yeah, we just have some of it was really hard to choose which preview pages to show off. There's over 200 pages to pick from or to choose from, and I was like, man, like which ones
I know.
to show. But yeah, so it's a beautiful book. He's an amazing illustrator. A lot of people, cannot believe this is his first book, which I can't believe it either. And I'm the one who works with them. So he's just an incredible artist, and it's a pleasure to be able to work with him throughout all these issues and these volumes. So yeah, this is the main cover by Anthony Gonzalez Clark. So you can see how much he's evolved as an artist just from this cover here, and he did the colors as well. So he's really bringing new tools to the table. And this features Fletcher and the Shadow Selves from Volume 1, as well as Kathleen in the background there. And then, so these are our variant covers. This one's by
wicked.
Luke Eidenschink, and he's an amazing fantasy horror artist. And I think he did just recently a cover for Conan over at Titan Comics right now. So he's fantastic. And this original art is actually available on the campaign as well. So if people want to pick up this cover, it's 11 by 17 original artwork that you can get. So that one's by Luke, and then this one is the Rob Willis cover, the crowdfunding exclusive that he did. And this features Fletcher and his shadow self in the mirror. And I love these the hands that are grabbing at Fletcher and tugging at his shirt here, but has a very image 90s aesthetic to it as well. But and then this is the other cover for Volume 2 by Anthony, and this features the elemental entities that Fletcher encounters in Volume 2. So we have Baker, Judith, and Heath. And then this cover is by Richard Morgan, who people who are familiar with Kickstarter may be familiar with his work through Blam and Glam. He has this really cool series that he writes and draws, and he's an oil painter as well as a digital painter. So he did this cover here, and then
those
Corey
bubbles
Barton.
are well placed.
Oh yeah. And then this is Corey Barton, and he did the pencils, inks, and colors for this cover as well. And this is the other crowdfunding exclusive. So So yeah, this one by Corey and the one that I showed earlier by Rob are the Kickstarter exclusives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we have the PDF for Volume One. People can pick it up for $5, and it's 100 pages, over 100 pages for $5. So I think it's the best deal in indie comics, really, that you can find. You can also get Volumes One and Two if you are a digital reader for $10. And then the Ash Can is $12, and like I said, it's 28 pages, and it's the first exclusive sneak preview at Volume Three. So really excited. I've never done like an Ash Can before. I'm only going to print as many as we sell on this campaign, so it'll be very, very rare. And then the base price for volumes 1 and 2, if you want the standard covers, are $15, and then the variants are a little bit more, but like I said, they're also, they're variants, and they're going to be only available, through this campaign. So you won't be able to really get them anywhere else. And then we do have a bundle, so you can pick up volumes 1 and 2 or volumes 1 and 2 in the Ash Can. And then if you are someone who wants the first printing of Seasons Volume 2, you can get it as a hardcover in this campaign. I only have about like 10 or 15 left. So if you're like, hey, I want a piece of this history here, like this is the way to go. And you may be able to find Volume 1 as on eBay or something, but it's really, really hard to find. So yeah, this is my bundle where I have all of Seasons, and then the Fabled Offering and Lifeline and Manchild, and you also get my Foxhole Comics T-shirt that I have. So that's my imprint. You can find me, on the online, like Foxhole Comics is all me. So, and then like I said, we have original art from Anthony, and then the original cover art for Luke's cover, and then Rob's cover that you can pick up as well. So yeah, we have a lot here, and I feel like our prices are very affordable and reasonable for people. But yeah, I'm super stoked about it, and I hope people will check it out. Like I said, there's only 10 days left. I think we're about like 59 or 60% funded, and we have about $2,000 more dollars to raise. And of course, with Kickstarter, it's always the first couple days and the last couple days where you get like predominantly most of your funding. So I'll be hitting my head against the wall for a while, but I'm excited.
Okay, so 10 days left. The link is in the description of the video. You heard the pitch. You heard what Nandor plans to do with a Volume 3. And if you're watching now, there's the link to the Kickstarter.
Yeah, and one other thing, sorry to interrupt. I wanted to let people know too that may be curious or that may have picked up the hardcovers. And if you're like, well, hey, are you gonna do a hardcover for Volume 3? Absolutely. So like when we do the campaign for Volume 3, we're gonna offer a hardcover and a trade paperback edition of the volume. So you're gonna be able to keep your collection the way you want to keep your collection. It's going to be uniform. It's going to be the same format that you want to collect it in.
And can you give us a hint about the Gungnir project that you're working on? Is it with the same artist, or is it another artist?
It's another artist. It's in a genre I've never published before, written before. Mm-hmm. And like I said, Steve Orlando is working as my editor. It's going to be a 140-page hardcover graphic novel, and it's really special. I can't really say much more than that, but I think it's really gonna turn people's heads. It is. I am working with an artist I've worked with before on it, so I will say that, and his work is incredible. And we're having a blast with it so far. But yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping we'll be able to announce it soon. And I'd love to come back and talk about it with you.
Sure, man. You just let me know. And I just want to thank you for your time. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And yeah, go and check out the Kickstarter. It's got 10 days left, and hoping to see Nandor's name and a lot more graphic novels in the future. It's always a joy to get to talk to you, man. But outside of seasons, do you ever feel like once it's all said and done, you can have like an all-in-one volume? I know, like, like a
Yeah.
big book.
No, I want that. I want that bad. I want to eventually. What I'd like to do is like a slipcase for all the hardcovers, to have them all together, and
Mhm.
then I would like to do like an oversized one volume collection,
Yeah.
and have all the seasons together. And yeah, so that's something that I really hope to do eventually. And I'd even love to do kind of like DC, how they're doing their compact editions. I'd even
Mhm.
love to do like a manga sized compendium or something of seasons. So that's something that I'd like to look into as well.
Huh. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you for your time, man, for joining us. And
Oh yeah, thank
that,
you, man. It's I love coming on your show. I love talking about comics with you. So I can't thank you enough for letting me talk about seasons.
absolutely, dude. And everybody, thank you. Check out Seasons. Stay healthy and safe. We are out of here. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.